Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 209 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Josh Ray joined alongside Nathan Durek, as per usual, talking all things football. So, the week has finally arrived. It's Vancouver Whitecaps playoff match week. Vancouver Whitecaps versus LAFC this weekend at BC Place. Sold out crowd, 53,000 expected. This week, finally, we'll preview the game more in depth. It feels like it's been a while coming, but the big game's finally happening.
Yeah, I never thought I'd have to wait 3 weeks in the middle of a season for a game, but that's what happens when you've got a playoff format and international breaks and a funny schedule.
Yep. And some updates from training. Tristan Blackman obviously is fully training. Brian White is too. So is Tate Johnson as he's recovering from his shoulder injury. Surprisingly, Sebastian Schonlau is also training.
Yeah, I went to training yesterday, and it was a surprise to see him there. He spent full training, doing everything, and then during the scrimmage, he was paired alongside, at least for the first half, with Tristan Blackman. They had moved Laborda as a left wing, obviously on one side, Tate Johnson playing on the other side, so they could play a scrimmage together. But he looked good. Obviously not as mobile as some others, but the knee seemed to hold up. He was out for training for the full amount of time. So were all the other players that had been battling injury. Ryan Gauld out there as well, looked good. We got to talk to him a little bit afterwards, along with Sorensen and Mueller. Yeah, they're ready to go. The one that we're still waiting to hear is about Daniel Rios. Rios did not take part on pitch training. He was on the bike behind us while we were going. And when we asked Jesper about Rios, he didn't say that he wouldn't be ready, but there was definitely hesitation in his language. It seemed like it was going to be a very late week decision to see whether or not he'd be up and prepared to go.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me. So we'll see where that goes with Daniel Rios. But it's good to see White, Blackman, Johnson in training, and even Sebastian Schonlau. Even if he is ready, I don't think he sees any minutes unless the Whitecaps are way up by like a lot late in the second half.
The way they used Ralph Priso during the scrimmage, he played the first half in his more natural kind of number 6 role, but then he dropped back to defense for the second part alongside Tristan Blackman. My guess is your starting back defensive pairing will be Blackman and then either Halbuni or Priso. We'll have to wait and see. And Blackman, we're also going to have to wait and see exactly how long he is good to go. My guess is, since his last game was the Canadian Championship final, he's not going to be fully match fit. I think if you can get 60 minutes out of him would be amazing, but we'll have to wait and see.
Probably gets a half, maybe 60, hopefully 60 minutes.
Yeah.
But again, that depends on how the game goes. And Brian White also, it's good to hear him that he's actually training. Just wondering if he could start the weekend. Maybe gets a half 60 minutes.
Yeah. Here's hoping. The one thing is, and Sorensen was actually pretty happy about this, is that this is probably the most players that he's had at his disposal in well over half a season.
Yeah.
Just with the amount of players that he's had to deal with injuries or sickness or anything like that. Obviously, we still have the season-ending injuries to, Sam and Ranko. They're not anywhere near being ready. But other than that, they're really, really healthy at a very important time of year, which is not something that the Whitecaps have been able to say for the past little while.
Yeah, the Whitecaps feels like they've been the healthiest since the beginning of the season.
Yeah. I mean, you can take a look at the Champions Cup final where, everyone came back pretty much sick. And since then, It's just been recovery after recovery after recovery.
Recovery after injury after injury.
Coming in. So, yeah, to see them where they are right now, Brian White, again, also looked really good, ready to go. My guess is that's going to be your go-to guy, at least to start, especially with question marks about Daniel Rios. But Saturday, one game, that'll decide it.
One game, no more best of 3, one game knockout. And it looks like, from what I've seen on social media, that the team has been practicing transitional defending, which is something LAFC are very good at on the transition, especially with Danny Bouanga and Son Heung-min. So that's also good to see. And Whitecaps will also get Jaden Nelson and Sebastian Berhalter and several others back from international duty. But one player who didn't go to on international duty was Andres Kubis, because apparently he had visa issues. And the reason why? It's because he left his passport in his pants and it got ruined in the washer.
So a little bit of a sheepish incident there. Obviously, it affected his ability to go with the Paraguayan national team. It will not affect anything to do with the Whitecaps. The issue has already been sorted. We talked a little bit about training. I talked with Patrick Johnson of the province, who obviously kind of had written the initial story about this. And yeah, it was kind of one of those moments of, a little bit of a brain fart, but it's all taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that before, but not with a passport.
I can't say it was my passport. I've done it with money. Thankfully, money is kind of plasticized, so it doesn't do anything to it. The worst is
same with a compass card
for me, right? If you do it with a tissue, then it gets everywhere.
Yeah, so I'll just with a passport. Well, I guess it happens to the best of us. We're all human.
Does. So the other thing to mention is Ali Ahmed was already back in training with Canada, obviously with the red card that he sustained, which we'll talk about later in the first Canadian men's match late last week. He wasn't going to be in the game that was yesterday, so he came back and he's been with the Whitecaps all week too.
Yeah. LAFC, Vancouver Whitecaps, they meet again in the playoffs. I mean, it's not a Whitecap season without LAFC in the playoffs. And dangerous team, third place in the Western Conference in the regular season, 17-9-8, and just went on a tear ever since Son Heung-min arrived, and he has just formed instant chemistry with Danny Bouanga, who, of course, we all know is a Whitecaps killer. But beyond them, they're still one of the elite teams in Major League Soccer.
Two teams, two very different styles, I think is the one thing. LAFC is not well, first of all, the Whitecaps love to hold the ball. They love possession. They love working it through and building up that way. LAFC is not going to care how much time the Whitecaps have the ball because they don't need it. Their whole philosophy is based off, once you have the ball, quickly move it up, get it to the two danger men, and go from there. The Whitecaps are going to have to be very, very intelligent on the back line because Bouanga and Son are going to be looking to run in behind that defensive line as soon as possible to get direct balls right through to them. It's not going to be much to catch them off guard. So players especially players on the side, Ocampo, Tate Johnson, Laborda, if he's playing on the side, they're going to have to be not only very, very alert, but very, very, very quick in marking their guys. Center backs are going to have to kind of cheat a little bit, come out to the sides a little bit to cover their fullbacks when that happens. Otherwise, we've seen it before. Bouanga, once he gets off to the races, he's a very, very difficult man to stop. That being said, last time they played LAFC, and to be fair, the Whitecaps did very, very good against LAFC this year. In the two matches against them, they took 4 points, 1 win, 1 draw. One of those, I think the draw, they actually went down 2-0.
They did, and Brian White scored 2 goals.
Exactly.
By the game. Takaoka made a big save off of Bobasi late.
You can't really take as much off those two games. Obviously, very, very different teams, very different playing styles even now for both teams with new additions. But it was said about Bouanga at first is that you can't really stop Bouanga. What you have to do is stop the service to Bouanga. This is going to be a game where it kind of feels like it's going to be decided in the midfield, right?
Yeah,
If
and the
you can
Whitecaps
win
cannot.
that midfield battle, if you can rely on an Andros Kubas, a Sebastian Berhalter to win those balls back very quickly before LAFC has the patience, the time, the clarity of what it is they want to do with the ball. If you're on their case, like right up in their grill beforehand, you don't allow that service. That's where this game's going to be won.
Yeah, the Whitecaps cannot allow Bouanga and Son to have any amount of space in behind or around them because of how dangerous they are. And Berhalter and Kubas really have to dictate the midfield against like Tillman and Delgado. And for the Whitecaps in possession, they have to be efficient and clinical with it because if you're not doing anything with that possession, LAFC will haunt them.
Yeah, it's that's the one thing is, and it's why I equally love these single match knockoffs and also hate them as well. Is because I think I said it before. It's soccer's version of Texas Hold'em poker. The swings are so extreme, and 90 minutes when you're looking at deciding, the outcome of your entire season based off one match. I mean, there's such huge swings of emotion that are involved in that. So if you just happen to have one off day, that's it.
Yeah, and if you have one off second against this LAFC team, it's gonna be they're gonna bite you. Like Austin had brain farts early in that game in round 1.
Yeah.
And now their season's over.
Whitecaps have definitely things going to their benefit. Games in Vancouver, sold out BC Place, the crowd is behind you, and a bit of a chip on their shoulder, right? I mean, you've been burned by LAFC in the playoffs the last few seasons. There is a little bit of that wanting to, change that narrative. I don't know how much that really matters to the players. Again, we were talking with Thomas and Ryan yesterday, and for Thomas, it's like, look, I'm coming into this. I understand the history, but I just want to win. I want to win this game. It doesn't matter what the other games were. Ryan, to a certain extent, was like that as well. Obviously, Gald's mind was on the Scotland and Denmark game that was happening at the same time. So he was trying to answer questions while we were giving him hand signals over what the score was. And then with Jesper, who came in right after with that, Jesper was complaining that it was the worst timed press conference ever because of Denmark and Scotland playing it at that time. But no, I think mentally these guys are prepared. It's the next game on the list, right? Yes, it's not lost on anyone that it's a big game, but you have to do it. And if you're going to be MLS Cup champions, you got to beat the best to get there.
Yeah, if you want to beat the best, you got to beat the best. And
absolutely,
I think that's extra motivation, but it feels like the Whitecaps as a team don't need it because they know what the stakes are, but they have a chance to slay the dragon. And it'll be even sweeter to beat the team that knocked them out in the last 2 years. And of course, I see the comparison between the 2011 Canucks and the Chicago Blackhawks. Like, there's the big opportunity here to change the narrative. But
it is, it's the fact that it's LAFC in your building. It's going to rile up the fans, and the fan energy feeds the players.
Yeah, got to take advantage of that home crowd because if LAFC score first, they will, it takes the crowd out of it. Speaking of scoring first, that's my big key heading into the match. Score first because the Whitecaps have scored first in MLS 19 times and they have not lost once.
Yeah.
And when they hold the lead at halftime, they have not lost once. And this is just a crazy stat. I didn't even know this. The Whitecaps have only conceded 4 equalizing goals when leading all season in MLS, while scoring 12 equalizers themselves. LAFC also have a good record scoring first, but they've lost once. And they are undefeated when leading into halftime.
Yeah, it's one of those matches that the stats kind of play in either team's favor. And at one point, for someone, the stats are going to end up having to shift.
Yeah, and both teams seem to get stronger as the match goes on, and the Whitecaps are one of the best teams in the final 15 minutes of the second half, and LAFC are right up there as well.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
like we've got two teams that know each other pretty well, have a superstar on each side, and play very different types of football. Possession versus counterattack. It's going to be entertaining. For the Whitecaps, I guess another big key is, to take advantage of that home crowd and just be efficient in the possession. And then when LAFC has the ball, do what they did all season, win it back as quickly as possible. Because giving any space to Denny Bwong and Son Heung-min is going to be very costly.
Very much so. I have a feeling the first few minutes of this game is going to be very high paced, very nervy. But once that first goal happens for either side, it's going to really, really open things up.
Yeah, and again, once
I wouldn't be surprised
first.
if this is a higher, like let's say like a 3-2 sort of game. Like there's going to be goals in this game.
Oh, there has to be. I'd be very surprised if it goes to 0-0 and goes to penalties.
Yeah.
I believe this game's going to have some fireworks, and this could be potentially be an MLS classic. Because these two
has
teams,
everything going for it, doesn't it? It really, really does.
It just feels like a final.
Yeah.
Even though it isn't. But out of all the remaining playoff games, this is the most exciting matchup. Vancouver Whitecaps, LAFC.
Yeah.
And another thing also that the Whitecaps should, use, this is also key, different goal scores. Sure, LAFC kind of have that too, but Bwanga and Son do a lot of the work offensively, but Whitecaps have had 24 different goal scorers in all competitions this year.
Which is insane. And scoring in different ways. Open play, corners with Matthias Laborda, Sebastian Berhalter, his long, beautiful shots or free kick. Like you see the free kick or the switch
shot against
that he had
the US,
with the Americans. Like,
need that this weekend.
Yeah, they can do it in multiple ways, and I think that's definitely to their benefit.
Yeah, Brian White obviously has the most, and Thomas Muller is right behind him. But other guys have stepped up this year, like Sabi. Campos even scored a few goals.
Yep.
Kenji Cabrera and Ryan Olumi have even scored, even though they haven't been here very long. And of course, Ralph Priso did it in
scoring, but definitely contributions.
Yep. So you expect goals from anyone, pretty much, for the Whitecaps. And I can't wait to be at PC Place for this game because, again, it's going to be a classic. It's going to be loud. And hopefully the Whitecaps come away with a win and extend this magical season even further. And yeah, I don't know what to expect. It feels like a toss-up if you're going to predict the game, but I expect it to be high scoring.
Yeah.
So Whitecaps LAFC 6:30 on Saturday. Moving on to the rest of MLS. This just came out this morning. MLS is reopening investigation into the Philadelphia Union sporting director Ernst Tanner over a wide range of alleged issues, including language and inappropriate physical contact.
Yeah, so this was an investigation that was conducted by MLS previously. MLS ended up closing the investigation because they said they could not find anything that was corroborating towards it. Article came out by The Guardian within the last
couple of
days. Yeah. Pablo Iglesias Maurer, who writes about the MLS quite a lot, where a lot more evidence was found out. In fact, they found additional evidence on 6 of the 8 allegations just through their report alone. We're talking about the use of racist, sexist, homophobic language, inappropriate physical contact. The report by the Guardian, has multiple stuff, talking about, how women don't belong in men's soccer, being derogatory about female referees, homophobic slurs, calling black players subhuman or lacking of intelligence and capability, numerous inappropriate touching. Apparently, he's also been reported numerous times to the union's HR department, hiring of basically cronyism under underqualified coaches for the academy, and affecting that. So MLS has actually come out earlier, actually I think only in the past hour or two, saying that they are now reopening the investigation. It is something they said that they always reserved the right to do, but you got to wonder, one guy working for the Guardian versus a team of investigators with MLS. You're telling me this one guy was able to pull all this up while you couldn't?
Odd.
Yeah.
So here's the statement from MLS for those watching.
So he is now on leave, I believe, while the league conducts its investigation. Big. Also, when you think of the fact that he's the sporting director for Philadelphia Union and the kind of Moneyball strategy that Philadelphia has built their team with, Supporter Shield winners, I think it's the third smallest player salary
bottom 5, I believe.
Yeah. So, this is going to be big for Philadelphia, and it's definitely a stain.
Yeah,
it not only follows the individual, but follows the team as they go through the rest of these playoffs.
Yeah. And these allegations are very...
they're not small.
They're not small. They're massive. Like a lot of red flags. The whole thing is a red flag.
Yeah.
Rather.
Yeah.
So we'll see where this goes. And as mentioned last week, and it was confirmed right after we recorded our last episode, MLS is switching the calendar to summer to spring, just like in Europe. And they will also have a 14-match mini-season to bridge the gap at the end of 2026. So that's 2027.
Yeah, so what this season will look like is you'll have a season that will go July to April. Playoffs will be in May. There will be a winter break that will start kind of early, mid-December, go until February. Obviously, a number of reasons were brought up for this. One, to be consistent with the vast majority of other leagues in the world. That aligns you with their transfer windows. So no longer will MLS be competing for the vast majority of players in the middle of their season, when it can, bringing in players can disrupt, or losing players can disrupt, because the rest of the world is trying to poach your players while you're only halfway through. There was definitely discussions with some of the more northern clubs, especially in the Northeast United States, Toronto, Canada, Montreal, even the Midwest, over weather and whatnot. The MLS has said that because of where that winter break will fall, essentially 91% of the MLS calendar under this new system is going to be similar to what the old system was anyway. So only 9% of your games are going to fall outside of what that was, which they believed would be an acceptable number. Now, I don't know if they tried to alleviate some of those concerns by maybe having some of those other teams just be on road trips at that time. I don't know, but they were able to, I think, mitigate some of the concern that way. Now, MLS doesn't necessarily love making changes unless there is uniformity in their consensus. There was not in this vote. There were people that were very, very against it, but
a lot of
majority rules.
Yeah, majority rules. A lot of people were against it. A lot of fans are against it. Even fans abroad are against it.
Fans abroad are against it because they like the fact that they could tune into MLS when the rest of the world wasn't playing.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about this too.
Yeah,
I like
mixed feelings. Yeah,
I like the fact that it aligns with the rest of the world's transfer window. So the Whitecaps can sign a big name if they wanted to in the summer, and they have him for the whole season instead
Yeah.
of just half. But on the other hand, forget the weather in like other parts of North America, which is also a concern. You're competing with NHL, NBA, college football, NFL, all the other big sports here.
That's the big one. The fact that you're not playing throughout the summer when really you're only competing against baseball, when we're talking about other sports, is going to be something that MLS is going to have to deal with. On the flip side, you're no longer competing with an international window where you're having international competition in the summer. World Cup, Copa America, Gold Cup, all these different things. And even the Gold Cup, which, I mean, literally is your own confederations tournament. When you're competing against your own confederation, I understand that as well. I don't think it's a perfect system. I think it's the better system to do the switch.
Yeah.
You're never going to find something that's going to appease
Whitecaps are going to be
especially when you're dealing
Canucks.
with a tournament or a league that spans multiple time zones, multiple countries. It's a very difficult thing to do, but I think it's the best of what you have. Now, MLS isn't finished with all this. There could be other changes coming before they do that switch in 2027. One of the things they're talking about is reformatting the league structure, getting rid of the whole idea of conferences, moving to 5 divisions and a single table where you would play teams within your conference twice, teams outside your conference once. Again, it's still not perfect because you're not playing every team the same number of times, but it's better than what it is.
Yeah. I might do an article this week, might not, about what the MLS could look like with 5 divisions. It makes the supporter shield more, like there's more stake at it. Like there's no conferences. Like anyone could go at it. I don't know. The division thing is kind of mixed.
The problem with divisions is you can't do it in a way where you preserve the existing rivalries.
Yeah.
Because basically if you're having 5 divisions, that means 6 teams a division. You take a look at the West, in all likelihood, you can't break up Cascadia. You can't break up California teams. That's 7 teams right there.
Yeah.
So at some point, you're going to have to break something up. The same thing happens in the West. In all likelihood, a team like Nashville or a team like DC United ends up being kind of pulled apart from its regional rivals in order to make the math work. Nothing is going to be perfect. There is going to be, again, division like there was in the previous vote. But for the long term, is it a better solution? Yeah, it might be.
It might be. This whole thing might be better in the long term, even though people will be against it.
I mean, the other thing we can just be honest is having 30 teams in a league is just too much when it comes to soccer. But that's not changing anytime soon.
It's going to be interesting to have the Whitecaps like deep into their season and the Canucks at the same time. Imagine both teams make the playoffs. A lot of competition there.
Yeah.
But I guess for the better of the league, this is better long term, even though I don't like everything and nobody likes everything about this.
That's just it. Yeah, I think that's right.
So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. And for the Whitecaps, with this switch to the, summer to spring, with BC Place in the winter, with the roof, no problem. But, with a soccer-specific stadium, hopefully that comes to fruition. Vancouver, it's not as cold, but there's a lot of rain.
You're going to be dealing with the rain. That's the one thing. You're going to have
but football in the rain is classic.
So long as you have a pitch that can handle that much rain. So, Vancouver, when it's on your 5th day straight of raining, are you going to have a pitch that can handle it to the point where it's not going to be
like an atmosphere
potential injurious to the players?
Yeah. So we'll see where this goes. So round 2 of the MLS Cup playoffs. Also, let's look at the other teams.
Yeah.
In the West, we have San Diego against Minnesota United. In San Diego, Minnesota getting by Seattle in 3. San Diego getting by Portland in 3. San Diego did it in style with that blowout Game 3 win. And Minnesota, beat Seattle with that classic penalty shootout. I feel like Seattle has the offensive firepower.
Minnesota.
San Diego.
No,
But
San Diego.
Minnesota, the back line and Dane St. Clair.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Again, if this was a best of 3, it's another one I could feel going to a best of 3 or going through. Being that it's single round knockoff, the game is in San Diego. I think I have to give the edge to San Diego.
Yeah, given their firepower with Dreyer and and everybody else.
But I'm not 100% sold on it yet.
Me neither, because I feel like Dan Sinclair could steal this game.
I think so too. Pardon me.
Minnesota also need to find a way to get going offensively. They did down to 10 men, but first 2 games in Seattle, they couldn't really. In the East, Cincinnati enter Miami. This is in Cincinnati. Obviously, Miami, we all know about them. But Cincinnati's been one of the better teams in MLS, best teams in MLS, rather. The likes of Denke and Evander, one of the best duos.
I think Evander is a completely reborn player this season. Not to say that he wasn't doing great things previously, but this move has really, really ignited him.
It helped him.
I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to say the stupid thing. I'm going with Cincinnati on this one.
I think I will too.
Really? Okay.
I just have that feeling about Cincinnati.
I do too. I think Miami has the stars. Cincinnati has the team.
Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
I feel like Cincinnati seemed like a really well-rounded team. Miami's weakness is their defense, obviously, especially on transitions.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like this one will be close. I won't be surprised if it goes to extra time.
Also, it's going to depend on who Miami actually decides to throw in net, right?
Yeah. And we'll see if Messi can, do his thing against
the
Cincinnati.
thing is Messi can completely change games by himself. We know that. We've seen it. We saw it in the playoffs in the first round.
He just Game 3
and put a game on his back. He can do that. And if he ends up being that player, yes, it's going to be very, very tough for Cincinnati to
I think this one goes extra time.
But I can see Cincinnati doing it.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
I'll just go the other. Philadelphia, New York. New York, big loss. Alonso Martinez tore his ACL with Costa Rica.
Yeah.
On international. He's their big star, their goal scorer. Huge blow to New York. If he was healthy, I would have picked New York for the upset. But I'm going with Philadelphia here.
I would say New York was the biggest dark horse left in this tournament. Yeah. But I agree with you. That's a huge loss. I don't know if you can overcome it.
Because he is
Philadelphia won the Supporter Shield, so they've shown that they can do it throughout the entire season.
Yeah, Philadelphia, Baribo.
The one thing is Philadelphia now has this, what we just previously talked about. They have a stain hanging over them. I think the fact that the game is going to be in Philadelphia,
it is,
ends up alleviating the feeling of that a little bit, because the fans aren't going to be, that pressure cooker on the players. So I think for 90 minutes, they're going to be able to just concentrate on the game. If this game had been in New York, it might have been a different case.
Yeah, I think so. They got the crowd behind them. I'll go maybe Philadelphia wins like 3-1 or something.
Cool.
I really, was going to pick New York before Alonso Martinez got hurt. So it's also a shame too, because New York, if the Whitecaps made to MLS Cup final and faced New York, they would have hosted it.
I know, right?
Oh, well. Well, you never know.
You never know.
So that's round 2 of MLS, and let's move on back to Vancouver. The Rise are the first. When a new league starts, you never forget the first. The first will always, live in the memory of everybody. And the Rise are the first ever NSL champions with a 2-1 win over AFC Toronto.
Man, this game had everything.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, for the first half hour, Toronto was absolutely off to the races. Morgan McCaslin, MVP performance, kept the Rise in this match. Obviously,
Kaylee Hunter does what Kaylee Hunter does.
Does what Kaylee Hunter does. She got the first goal in the 20th minute. Not a lot that McCaslin could do on this one, but
Yeah, it was all Toronto. Like the
kept them
Rise couldn't
involved
get
beforehand.
anything going.
14 shots by Toronto in the first half. 8 were on target.
Yeah.
8 in target in only 45 minutes, which is kind of nuts. McCaslin kept them. Now, there was kind of a little bit of divine intervention, if you want to call it,
Feels like it.
with a weather delay.
Rain
Lightning
delay.
around the 36th, 37th minute.
Somewhere there.
Obviously, you have to wait half an hour. That half an hour allowed the Rise to go regroup, kind of breathe a little bit, and come out a little bit united. Obviously, nothing was able to be done with the few minutes that they played, 6-7 minutes.
It felt like that break rejuvenated them.
The break changed things. And basically, coming out for the second half, it was a much different team. It was a lot more even, but the Rise were finally starting to get to use their wide players, Holly Ward and Lisa Pechurski, and get things done. And of all things that kind of, changed the game was a corner kick and a fumbling by Cotillard, a goalkeeper for Toronto. Now, this is a very strange goal if you get a chance.
It is like one of those funniest goals you'll ever see.
I can't remember who took the corner kick, but it was one of those ones where you're trying to figure out, did Nikki Stanton turn it in? That's another thing we should talk about. Nikki Stanton had to come in for Quinn, who went off injured in the first half.
Which is a tough loss.
But no, it looked like the ball was redirected by Regan into the hands of her goalkeeper, but because of that redirection, it wasn't handled that well. Ended up being bungled out of her hands and into the net for an own goal.
Yeah.
And that own goal, for about the next 15 minutes, Toronto lost themselves. Yeah, there was questionable decisions, questionable play, very
couldn't finish too.
Uncharacteristically nervous play from Cotillard. It seemed like that own goal kind of threw her for about 10, 15 minutes. And that winner was all the Rise needed. 14 minutes later, Holly Ward, who had been kind of quiet. For the game, but an absolute bullied run.
A great run.
To get into the box with the ball, cut in from the left, and to pick out the far post with this shot was just beautiful. But she had to do it while holding off her defender, who was really, really pushing her and trying to knock her off that ball. Beautiful goal.
Beautiful goal. Beautiful setup. The way she just out-muscled the defender and beat Cotillard far post. I mean, a great game-winning goal. Yep. Toronto kicking themselves for not putting the game away earlier. Also credit to Morgan McCaslin.
Morgan McCaslin, won MVP of the playoffs, absolutely deserved with this game. Because if she had not held off AFC Toronto in that first half, this could have been a very, very different match.
Yeah, it really did feel like divine intervention, help rejuvenate the Rise. And because first half they weren't really getting anything going offensively, all Toronto, but then things changed. And it goes to show how resilient this team has been all year. Remember, they were out of the playoff picture in like May, June.
Summer, yeah.
But ended up finishing third. Before they even went on like a 6-game winning streak or something like that.
I mean, finishing third, they were tied for second on points. It was just goal difference that was this deciding factor between second and third.
Yeah, and they've had injuries. Like Samantha Chang, let's not forget, missed the first few games of the season.
Shannon Wohler, their captain, was been out with the season-ending injury, which Samantha Chang ended up picking up the armband afterwards. Quinn dealt with a few injuries here and there throughout the season. Nikki Stanton. The midfield of this team actually had to deal with quite a bit. And then they also had the injuries to the back line as well. Coward was out. She was back for this game, which was good. We talked about Shannon Wohler as well. Definitely having to deal with things here and there. But when it was required, they got the job done.
Yeah, that's the story of their season. Backs against the wall, adversity, they overcame it.
Yep.
Like, I remember that 7-0 loss in Toronto. I think that was the last loss of the Oh no, they bounced back the next few games and just didn't really look back. And they've had some bad losses for sure, but they always knew how to bounce back.
Absolutely. There is going to be a celebration tonight, a Hollywood Theater trophy celebration with the fans. As far as I know, it's sold out.
Yeah, it is.
I will be there checking it out. Kind of late.
You live closer, so.
What is we? Yeah. And then we have year-end media with the Rise on Thursday. So we will talk to coaches, talk to players, and figure out what happens for next year.
Yeah, there's a lot to build on for next year, and chance to defend the title, beat the first NSL dynasty, be the villain, kind of like what Forge are.
Yeah,
is the CPL. It's kind of fitting. Rise started this inaugural season with that win at BC Place over Calgary, and they finished it by being the champion. So congratulations to everyone involved with the Rise, players, coaches, staff.
Well deserved.
Thankful for covering them with the podcast and the writing all year. We're going to come back with more, obviously, all next year because the team's growing.
What happens in the offseason.
Yep, team's growing, league's growing. The federal government's committed $5 million to growing this league, so that's something.
Yep.
And over a million people watched the NSL final.
There you go. Yeah, I think it was about 1.1, round a decimal here or there. Watching that final, I think it was CBC, TSN, whoever was covering.
Yeah, both CBC, TSN.
But those are good numbers. Those are really,
especially
really
when you make the game accessible. The whole league's been accessible.
Yeah,
all year.
And I really, really hope they keep that up. The fact that you can watch this game on just regular television and really, really helps, especially when you are a brand new league. You have to make it easy for people to find you. And that's something that I would say was a bit of the impediment with the CPL.
Yeah. PWHL is following the NSL's lead. It's going to be on like every TV channel.
Good.
Sportsnet, TSN, CBC.
Yeah.
So, yeah. One women's team has ended. The other one, the Vancouver Golden Knights, is about to begin. And can't wait for season 2 of the Northern Super League. And hopefully the Rise can look at defending their NSL title.
Absolutely.
Yep. Men's national team. Finally, they got a win and scored some goals, but let's talk about the first game against Ecuador. Everything went out the window like 5-10 minutes in. Ali Ahmed, a reckless challenge for sure. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Goes after the ball, gets a foot up on the Ecuadorian player. It looked like hit him like on the arm or the shoulder, but the Ecuadorian player went down like he's been shot in the chest. Yellow.
I'll tell you right now, there's absolutely nothing I like about this. I don't like the reaction of the Ecuadorian player.
Yeah.
Like this. I don't like the fact that Ali Ahmed had his boot as high as my head.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. And in my mind, this is why I believe a red card is, sure, it's harsh, but we've seen him being given for much less. And we've said it time and time again, you have to be responsible for your own body. And if your foot is up there, your foot has no business being up there.
Yeah, Ahmed was nowhere near the ball, by the way.
You made that call easy for the referee.
Yeah, players weren't happy about it. Jesse Marsh wasn't happy about it.
But you're not going to change it. You're not going to re-legislate referee, especially when there is no VAR. And if that is called red, I'm sorry, but that has been called red many, many times before. So
yeah, it's been also called yellow many times before. Yeah. So
we'll call it an
50-50.
Orange, but
orange, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll call it that.
Sorry, be angry, but I don't think you have much to be angry about.
I mean, it could have been worse, right?
Yeah.
A 0-0 draw given that circumstance was probably the best case scenario.
Was really good. Obviously, we want to see this team being tested in how they might be tested when the World Cup. The red card really changed things, but for the resilience and the defensive structure of this team, they showed that they can compete with good-sized nations in football when something like this happens.
Ecuador had 0 shots on target. They had
Not
only
bad.
just 4 attempts. Like, yeah, I'm sure people in Ecuador, the fans, players, coaches, not happy about that performance.
Yeah.
You're up by a man and you can't even get a shot on target. Like, what the hell? And Canada did have that one shot that first half. Tani Oluwaseyi
Yeah.
was saved, but felt like he could have put that away.
Yeah, he really needed to, didn't he?
But this goes to show that there's some maturity and resilience growing from this Canadian side. Because remember, against Guatemala, after Schaffelberg got sent off, everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
In the Gold Cup. This time it didn't.
Yeah.
So they learned from that game, which is one takeaway. Another takeaway from that game was how good Richie Larea was, like on that left side. He looks
This
undroppable.
entire window, Richie Larea really, really impressed.
This whole window, I think he was the best player by far.
I think so too.
Just the way he just cut inside, used his speed, and used the dark arts. Just really well done. So good off on keeping Enter Valencia, Petrovite, Moises Caicedo off the score sheet. I mean, a 0-0 draw, you take it, especially when down to 10 men. And then last night, a win and some goals. And of course, this game had to have some fireworks because friendly, not really a friendly. By the way, this game should have been played in like Toronto or Montreal because
that was an empty stadium.
Yeah, and especially given the political stuff between the U.S. and Venezuela, might have not been the best idea to put in the U.S.
You know what though? Again, you're gonna have to deal with harsh environments, so I don't find anything really wrong with it. And they finally figured out how to put the ball back in the net.
Yeah, this was a really nice goal. Look again, Richie Larea. Makes it happen. Like cuts in, his initial shot was blocked, but Ismael Kone gets his first of the year. Just buries it past Jose Contreras. Just one touch, one goal. And again, Larea, undroppable.
Benefit of a bit of a nice bounce, but obviously, you're in the right position. And Larea's work initially made it happen. So, no, all the credits. And then late in the second half, Promise David, who a lot of players do want to see a little bit more of.
I definitely want to see more.
Finally got his name on the score sheet for that attacking group who has been a goal shy for quite a little while. Another one with Jonathan David not getting on the score sheet too.
It was Jonathan who came off for Promise.
Yeah.
This credit to Waterman for launching the ball downfield for Nico Seeger, and great cross for Seeger to find a very patient finish from Promise David.
Yeah, he actually had to. The ball was a little bit behind him, and he had to kind of reset.
Controlled it well,
but really well. Again, a game not without controversy, though.
Yeah. So David Martinez, the LAFC player, by the way, gets sent off for taking down Larea, though you could argue Larea sold that one.
Yep.
And then this one was much worse than the Ali Ahmed red card against Ecuador. So Kone was going after the ball, and it looked like, according to the referee, it looked like he had the high boot on Kevin Kelsey. But Kone barely touched Kelsey.
There was no contact.
There was no contact.
Again, it could have been reckless. The boot was high, but there was no contact. This one was completely sold.
If there was contact, it was like, I don't know, like this.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is when I thought was a very bad
goal. This one was terrible.
I mean, it wasn't even a yellow.
Yeah, and then the ref started giving out like cards like he was Oprah. You get a card, so on. But good on Canada for, again, not letting that get to them.
Yep. This was also the first game with Alfie Jones, brand new Canadian. He was just sworn in as a Canadian citizen in yesterday morning before the match.
They originally wanted him to play against Ecuador, but they couldn't get that done in time.
Couldn't get it done in time. I thought he did pretty good on a
He did.
Canadian debut. Might have been guilty of maybe trying to kind of weird to say it, but doing too much. But obviously, it's your first time, brand new teammates. I thought it was a really good debut.
I thought he was efficient with the tackles, with the passes. He just did the simple thing, which is nice.
Yeah.
Thought he did pretty good.
Absolutely. Well. Now, FIFA has already come out with its brand new rankings because of the international break. Canada has moved up a spot into 27th
pretty good
in the FIFA rankings, moving or jumping over and switching places with Ukraine. Highest ranking they've ever had.
Yeah, and they continue to climb. It's kind of hard to take away. Like what we learned here, given the circumstances of both games. But again, resilience, not letting the emotion get to them, and just getting the job done. I think goal scoring for sure still need things to be tweaked on because we don't know who Jonathan David's best partner is yet. Marsh has said Ole Washe, but it hasn't worked.
You do wonder if you kind of go with the Davids right now.
I think I would too, especially.
I want to see them play together. We see them kind of come in one for one. I want to see them play together.
Promise has the
kind of difficult because they do fit a very similar profile. It might not work, but you know what? This is the time.
We haven't really seen them together.
Yeah,
like Jonathan can drop back. He has the skill set, while Promise can stay up high and uses size. Obviously, still know the goalkeeping situation because both really didn't do much in this window. Though Grapo had to make 3 big saves against Venezuela, and St. Clair didn't have to make one.
Yeah,
against Ecuador.
Again, I know people seem to be leaning towards Dane St. Clair right now. I think when you have to look at form, you've also got one goalkeeper who was just MLS goalkeeper of the year. You have another guy without a club right now. That's the easy vote, but I'm still not sold.
I don't think anyone's sold. Anyone, not even Justin Barsh knows.
Yeah. And you know what? To his credit, I think it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1A, 1B situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, again, Alfie Jones, good depth piece for the back line. Given the amount of injuries to the back line right now, good to have. So, I mean, just a lot of more questions than answers, but it feels like the team is growing in maturity. I guess that's a big takeaway from this window. And it's finally good to score and get a win. And this year there's a lot of ups and downs, Could have been more this year for the men's national team. Like very disappointing exits to the Nations League and the Gold Cup. Very disappointing. But these friendlies, they showed what they're capable of when it all clicks, but still a lot of things to work on regarding the attack, consistency with some certain players. Like they know what they are, but just needs to be more consistent, and things need to be, tuned up a little, like goal scoring, sometimes defensive play. But Marsh's system is exciting, fast transition, high press. And I feel like this team heading into the World Cup, is in good shape, but could be better.
Yeah, I think it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, we won't get an international window till March.
Yeah.
And we just didn't see what, who Canada plays.
It'd be interesting to see if they decide to do, sometimes you see doing a camp in January. I'm not too sure if we'll see that, but being that we're heading into a World Cup year, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
Yeah. So, we've got a team mixture of this is a very young team. Let's not forget. I don't think the oldest guy out of in this window was Osorio.
I can say either him or Eustachio, but I think you're right. It's got to be Osorio.
Yeah, Eustachio's in his late 20s. So, yeah, I got a lot of guys in their mid to early 20s, even their teens.
Yeah.
So, young team, but slowly but surely there's maturity growing. So that's Canada this year, and hopefully 2026 will be the best year.
Not a lot happening in the European leagues. Obviously, they're on the same window as everyone else, but a little bit to talk about.
So Chelsea made a signing. Denier, I think that's how you pronounce it, Ordonez, a 16-year-old center back from Independente de Val, which was Moises Caicedo's youth club and Pedro Vite's. Signs, and he will join the club in 2028, but he'll probably go to Strasbourg first. So another signing for the future, another kid, another case of football manager playing from the Chelsea brass. Well, we'll see where this kid goes. But finally, Chelsea have a shirt sponsor. Oracle. It took them that long. And this was one of the rumored names. But it's only until the end of the season. Because reasons. But finally, they will have a shirt sponsor. Oracle. And it actually doesn't look that bad with the mock-ups. I mean, better late than never, I guess. But they wanted a long-term deal. But end of the season, like that's what they did with Damac last year. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I know it's harder than it actually seems, but a long-term shirt sponsor. You have Champions League. You won the Club World Cup. Should be no reason not to get a long-term shirt sponsor. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. I wouldn't mind if this was like a 3 or 4 year deal. So at least it's something. And it looks like Philip Jorgensen might leave in January because apparently he wants more playing time. Because Robert Sanchez has been getting the bulk of the playing time. And you know what? If he does leave, get another goalkeeper that can actually start. So why not? If he wants more playing time, sell him or loan him out. So Chelsea have Burnley away this weekend. Should win that one. And then big one, Barcelona at home on Tuesday in the Champions League. So at least for Spurs, there's some interest in some names that would have liked at Chelsea in the past.
Fair enough. Not a lot going on with Tottenham. There's been talk about them trying to move again for Ivan Toney. Obviously, he's in Saudi Arabia right now. Al Ali, his current club, said he's not going anywhere. So we'll have to wait and see with that. Semenyo, it's come out that he's got a release clause that will kick in this January for £65 million. Spurs are still interested in the player. I have to wait and see if it happens. Man United also in. Been also a few other clubs that have been kind of kicking tires, but those two are the big ones. And other than that, we've got a North London derby this weekend. So,
all right.
And Spurs get something over Arsenal. Arsenal, number one in the league. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, that would help, Chelsea if Spurs somehow manage to get the win or even a draw.
Help everyone.
It would help everybody that is in Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Semenyo is someone I like. I'd want him at Chelsea, but Chelsea have enough wingers.
Yeah. I think right now...
apparently the sponsor deal is not confirmed, and now people are saying it's off.
Oh, no.
Now Riyadh Air is the favorite for Chelsea. Like, what? I don't even know.
It's so weird that Chelsea seems to have such a problem getting a shirt sponsor over the past years.
I know. Spurs had AIA for like...
Forever.
I can't imagine.
That deal is still going to go on until 2028 until they move over to the training facility, which will then Spurs will be looking for a shirt sponsor at that point. But they've had AIA ever since they got rid of Holstein. Yeah,
and apparently some say it's off, some say it's on. Some sources say that it could be renewed for another 3 more years, but we'll see.
Who knows?
You never dull day with Chelsea with their shirt sponsor.
Definitely some big matches that happened this international break when it came to World Cup qualifying. None other than Scotland, Denmark. What a
shout out to Michael McCall.
Yeah.
Great game here. 4-2 win for Scotland. It starts with Scott McTominay with that bicycle kick.
And you know what? Arguably, not even the best goal in the game.
4th goal of the game. Kenny McLean. That seals the deal for Scotland from the halfway line.
Yeah. This game had everything. Like I said, this game was happening as I was in the middle of the press conference with Ryan Gauld and Jesper Sorensen. So definitely interesting as both those guys are reacting to it in real time.
Yeah. Classic game. Scotland are in the World Cup for the first time since, I believe, 98.
That's crazy. You know what? This could act, and especially also with Wales winning their game, this could be one of the first World Cups where you have all four of the UK home nations and Ireland in the World Cup.
Well, I've except Northern Ireland. Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
Yeah, Ireland are in the
yeah.
playoff after Troy Parrott's hat trick propelled them past Hungary. Yeah,
Parrot, yeah.
yeah,
Northern
28
Ireland
years.
is top of their group right now,
Yeah, I'm just.
so they could.
I mean,
They
just
could
you have
do it.
seen the video of Scottish fans reacting, of videos rather of Scottish fans reacting to the win. You got it already. It's even more emotional that Andy Robertson said that he spent a lot of time thinking about Diogo Jota
Yeah.
before the
Yeah,
game, which made it even more special.
Yeah.
Yeah, just nice to see the Scots back in the World Cup, and I love it if they play a game here in Vancouver. Michael McCall would too.
Oh, it'd be huge. You have a huge following. Teams qualified this window. Obviously, we talked about Scotland. Belgium got over the line. They've qualified. Spain is now qualified, although it wasn't the greatest performance against Turkey. Curacao. First
And
ever
CONCACAF
World
games
Cup.
were like all the CONCACAF games were crazy. I was watching with the Canada game at the same time.
Curacao is now the smallest nation to have ever qualified for the World
First
Cup.
ever World Cup.
Population
of
size of
about
North
100K, 150K, which is like the same size as North Vancouver. The
One
district
thing
and
that
the city, by the
Curacao
way.
has going for it is they have a lot of, again, because of colonialism, but they do have that pipeline through Netherlands. So a lot of players do end up playing for Curacao. Something that also Suriname has been looking at over the past little while as well. Other than that, Panama has qualified. And Haiti.
For the first time since the 70s.
First time since 72, and they've qualified with a head coach who hasn't even stepped foot in the country.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So Fafa Pico will be going to the World Cup.
Yeah. Although, it looks like Jamaica will not be making it, and their coach has stepped down.
Yeah, he stepped down.
Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting the name here?
Steve, yeah, I was told this like last night as it happened.
Steve McLaren.
McLaren, yeah, he just resigned.
Just resigned. So obviously, Steve McLaren, definitely a name that we've heard a lot throughout Europe. But it looks like they might not be going because they were involved in that 0-0 draw with Curacao. Curacao qualifying out of their group.
Yeah, and well, the World Cup is taking shape. Playoffs are still gonna be underway. Like you see a team like Public Congo, they're in the playoff, and Nigeria are not going to be in the World Cup.
That was huge. Yeah, Nigeria not being in the World Cup is very big.
Losing on
we also now have found
Congo.
out that it will be Guadalajara and Monterrey is going to be hosting the playoff tournaments for remaining kind of the intercontinental spots that are still available.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring up the graphic or list rather of qualified teams for those watching. So, yeah, these are the teams that have qualified. 6 spots remain. UEFA playoff, more playoff spots. This is going to be an epic World Cup with all these teams, especially with these smaller countries like Curacao, Haiti, Cabo Verde.
Yeah.
Even Jordan, Uzbekistan.
A lot. I mean, obviously, with the number of teams that are in this World Cup, there's definitely going to be debutantes, but it's going to be a very, very interesting tournament. And also, Iraq qualifying after 17 minutes of stoppage time and getting a penalty at the very end of that game for their qualifier.
Yeah, imagine Iraq and Iran.
Yeah,
in the World Cup. So. Yeah, this is going to be an epic tournament, and Canada, U.S., and Mexico are hosting. So that'll conclude this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Follow me on Twitter, JoshuaRay00 podcast. And Nathan is at Enduric podcast at Terminal City FC. We're also on Blue Sky as well. Search up our names and search up Terminal City FC podcast. Check out our Instagram and YouTube channel. And of course, wherever podcasting, streaming service you are listening on. So yeah, we'll be at the game this weekend at the press box for Whitecaps LAFC. It's going to be epic. Talk about it all next week and the rest of MLS round 2. So yeah, thanks for your support. Thanks for watching, listening. And if you're a business or if you know someone with a business, email us at terminalcityfcpodcast@gmail.com because we would like to have a sponsor. So yeah, that'll conclude this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.